Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today doing another versus beers. Versus beers that's not blind this time because I just really wanted some beer and I wanted to review these. And I was like, do we want to bother with a blind tasting? No, let's just try and compare them and see how they are. Although that would be most fair. But we're trying two Franconian Pilsners. One that is really acclaimed. I don't know if it's won awards. I think it might have. And one that's got acclaim through awards. So we're checking out Wagner's Pilsner, one of my favorite breweries in Franconia, and from Bamberg, Keesmann Herren. Very, very well respected beer. This one, this is fantastic. I had it at the brewery. I didn't have the Pilsner at the brewery from Wagner, I think, but the Herren Pils at the source was banging. And they made sure to pour real nicely with that big marshmallow fluff head on top. Like, it's just a different story drinking the beer at the source down there, man. It is some of the best lager drinking experiences at all. So I think, which one should we start with? They are both 4.8%, 4.9. So we'll start with Keesmann, which is 4.8. Wagner's 4.9. So Keesmann, I couldn't really find much info online other than, they don't have a website at the moment, which is interesting, but there is info on other websites, and they have an Instagram page where they very, very rarely post things. But it says an extra class of Pilsner from a inherited, I think, family recipe, brewed from an inherited family recipe, and it has a noble herbal flavor from a special selection of hops. So yeah, brewed with barley malt, hops, and yeast, 4.8%. Let's check out some Herren Pils. There's another Herren Pils, and one of my favorite Pilsners is from Augsburg, from the fantastic Riegele, and that's a much more hoppy beer than this. This still feels somewhat like a Franconian beer as far as I remember. So pours a very nice golden yellow color. They actually, just after we left, maybe it's a month after we left, they served this unfiltered at the brewery and people loved it. And I think that's a first. So, but yeah, nice clear golden yellow color, white head. Let's check out the aroma. Also, just for a little bit of comparison, the Wagner is definitely the paler of the two. This one has a little more of a deep gold color, whereas the Wagner is like really, really pale yellow or deep gold. It's got a yellow color with a slight gold hue to it. And also the Wagner is a bit more clear. But whitehead, let's see the aroma on Keesmann Herren Pils. Smells really good. A substantial bready malt character to this one, paired with very nice aromatic noble hops. It's grassy, it's citric, it's fairly fruity actually, but also with some nice drying kind of spiciness underneath. Floral. Yeah, and like freshly baked breadiness to it. It has like a little bit of a rustic bready edge without being too much. It's like light and also still at the same time a bit crackery. Yeah, very nice hop aroma to it. It smells pretty much like classic noble hops. Something like Tettnang or Mittelfrüh that's a bit more fruity, or maybe even Hasbrook can also be a bit more fruity because there's some nice fruitiness to it. It's not all spice and herbs, but it smells really good. Let's try it. Cheers. Wow, it's really nice to have this with a fresh palate. Because when we had this in Bamberg at the source, it was awesome. But I think I actually enjoy it more at home now in the bottle. And maybe that's because it was there was one of the last spots of the day. But it was awesome because there we got to meet Jason, who has followed the channel for a while. We hung out with afterwards, along with the guys from Brewed Beers in Colorado. So yeah, that was really fun. And then we met some new friends and we got to hang out. And we also got to hang out the day after at Memmelsdorf, which was awesome. So that was actually where we met Jason and those guys, which was funny. It's always like beer brings people together. We were geeking out about stuff. Actually, if you watch the video of the Franconian tour, there's a bit of a snippet, but you can hear Jason mentioning it's a guy making videos for YouTube. He's called the Master Puppets because I think the guys from Brewed was asking why I was filming. But I cut a little bit of it out because we were just rambling at that point in the video. But this is great. This is great pills. higher bitterness than I remember at the brewery too, but it's probably just because I'm having this with a really fresh palate. So refreshing, so crushable. This is something where you should, if you go there, you should bring home a crate of this from the brewery because it's just awesome. And we did. It's just really, really refreshing and quaffable and drinkable. It's got a substantial bitterness. I did not remember that. I remember it being more light on the bitterness, but it's really nice. There is a reason why a lot of people in Bamberg think this is like one of the best Pilsners in town, which is understandable. I think I've rated it a whole lot lower in the past. I've reviewed this before. I didn't look up. I'm not even sure if it broke 80, but I'm also not sure, if it was a fresh bottle, and I'm 100% sure it was before I had my Renaissance lager beer. Okay, it's back in 21, so 3 years ago. It's funny, it was around the same time I also drank the Herren Pilsner from Brewed, and I think that beer just blew my mind. But that was also a really aggressively hot Pilsner. Really, really good Pilsner though, but quite a different story than this. But it's interesting, like how this didn't break 90 back then. I would say it breaks 90 today, but it could be the bottle, it could be the day. I don't know. It's also, again, I'm starting to appreciate, like, this is my favorite styles these days. It's nice because it's fruity, aromatic, bitter, and hoppy, but it has some rustic malt character to it. Like, not loads, but just enough. It's crisp and really refreshing as a Pilsner should be, but there's a little bit of that complex edge of like rustic breadiness, almost Munich malt-esque. So I'm wondering if it's because of decoction mashing they get that, or they add a bit of Munich or Melanoidin or something like that. Maybe even Vienna because there's a bit of a honey malt sweetness, but not loads, just light. It's also crackery, but it's also more floral and fruity than I remember. Also, this bottle seems more bitter than I remember. Really amazing floral hop character on it, like this bright floral, almost like a little bit of a lavender thing, paired with citrus and lemon zest and lemon pith, and then like that crackery note that turns into a little bit of a honey nut Cheerio, and a soft touch of breadiness. Awesome Pilsner. Competition is hard here. This is great. I'm actually liking this more than I did in Bamberg. Impressive. So I don't have anything to palate cleanse with. Too bad. But we're jumping on to Wagner's. So a little bit stronger. This one, a silver and a bronze at the European Beer Star, which is a very, very renowned beer competition in Europe. And they say that this Pilsner has 12.1% Plato of original gravity. And it's got a noble bitterness that comes from the aroma hops, it says. So I think it's written very, very interesting, but it seems something like the noble bitterness come from a late addition of aroma hops. So I'm wondering if they do not use bittering hops in this and all the hops are aroma hop additions. That's pretty interesting. And it says the combination of that and the full-bodiedness of their Pilsner is make it one of their favorite beers that they produce. So I love this brewery. I think Wagner is just outstanding. So let's try and jump over to their Pilsner. Again, a little stronger and more pale. Definitely more pale, more clear. That's just like straw yellow, golden color. White head, also quite nice and fluffy on this one. Let's check out the aroma on the Wagner Pils. And also Willy Becker's, man. This is like one of the best glasses for Pilsners. I love using these, especially with the golden rim. Let's check out the aroma. Yeah, this is definitely more to the fruity side. It feels a little less robust and more crackery and really fruity. Like Mittelfeu type fruitiness. Citrus, lemony, really floral. That one had a bit of a peppery edge to it as well. This is all like the floral fruitiness. And I wonder if that's because they used all the hops as aroma hop additions. Could be. It smells really good. Much more crackery, a little bit doughy. Quite different Pilsners, actually. One that's slightly more robust, seeming a little bit more Franconian. This smells, more, bright and light and summery almost. It smells really good, too. Let's try it. Cheers. Oh, wow. This is really tough. The cup. This is really like, oh man, I'm not. I have one sip and I can already say now, like, how am I going to pick a winner out of this? Like, the characters are somewhat different, but they are really, really good Pilsners. This is a bit more bright, and this is a bit more crackery. Also, the bitterness level seems about the same. Maybe it's a little bit higher in this, but this has more like bright floral, citric, grassy, kind of fruity hop flavor. It almost feels a bit more like modern for what it is, the Wagner Pilsner. That's really great as well. But it doesn't have the same layering effect because it's lacking the robustness and it is lacking the edges or the layers of malt and the like more spicy flavors and whatnot, as in Keesmann's Herrenpils. Oh, it is great Pilsners. But this is just a bit, it's more fruity and crackery and doughy as well. And then there's definitely some peppery, spicy, bitter bite to the end. I think it might be more bitter because I'm feeling it digging in a bit more there. These are great Pilsners, but it's so interesting because they are not like sharp. They're so refreshing and awesome, but they're soft on the same time. Like the malt characters and the mouthfeels are very soft and mouth coating up front first. And then it just goes into like this drying bitterness, which is really nice. Like this one has more oomph of hop character, for sure. More brightness, more zestiness, more grassiness, more like lemon, floral. There's definitely pepper on the back end, like drying bitter peppercorns. Also like some bitter herbs, whereas this is more pure pepper. Yeah, like an herby, almost like a little bit like bitterness of Thai basil or something like that. Whereas this one is more just like layered, but it doesn't finish on like the sharper bitter edge. But I don't mind the sharp bitter edge because I love bitter beer. I just had a look on Untap as well, just to see my old thoughts on this. Well, not this because I hadn't had it before, but the Herrenpils. It's a different mindset, and it's the beer geek mindset of beers needing to explode in your face. These are not exploding in your face beers. Yeah, I think it's hard. And what's interesting, this has actually been on draft in Denmark. Mikkeller bars had it on draft. I wonder if Mikkeller is starting to import some Franconian beers or something, because I've never seen Wagner in Denmark, ever. So these are relatively fresh bottles, bought at the brewery, bought at a Getränkemarkt, not the freshest as at the source, but they are so high quality. Like, I don't think they're exactly world class, but I can't at all fathom how you cannot give these at least a 90. And this is one of the things, like I had a lot of friends that had these, and it's everywhere between 3.25 and 3.75 because it's Pilsners. And it's like, come on, fuck. Guys, these are Pilsners, and they're from Franconia. They are about soft, gentle complexities. And the condition on them are awesome. There's no flaws. There's hints of sulfur, which is accepted in the style, especially as I dunk the rest into the glass. That's it. Why would you ever rate, these are awesome Pilsners. Why would you rate these lower than a 4? I can't fathom it. But I've been there myself. And it's because coming from the beer geek mindset, these beers, like you want beers that are like, where you can only drink like 20 centiliters. And then it's too much. Like, well, it's not too much, I guess, for a lot of people at one point. But you want those experiences where it's just so saturated and intense with flavor. These days, a lot of times I pick this. I oftentimes pick something like this over like barrel-aged stouts and hazies and whatnot. Like, maybe not barrel-aged stouts. Well, it depends on the situation. Like tonight, I wouldn't want a barrel-aged big stout as my beer after a long day. This is what I want. I just can't fathom people rating these things. The averages on these are 3.4. This is marvelous Pilsner. Again, maybe world class at the source if they were dead fresh, but I don't think they're entirely world class. And I also think I enjoyed for some reason, the Wagner Bucks are the ones I enjoyed the most, but I think I had them the freshest. So that's why. But at the source, these are probably world-class beverages. At Keesmann, at Wagner, I'd say they are probably world-class. Keesmann, I mean, it varies a lot from your mood, everything. Go there, and then one day you're like, yeah, and the other day you go there, you're like, yeah, this is the best Pilsner around. So I'm going to score these 94. I think they're really damn close to world class. I think the only like small thing for me to reach the highest territory with these, or the 95, the highest territory, that's 100, would be at the source. Otherwise, 95 with fresher bottles, I guess, or just at the source as well. But they're so close. Also, look at the lacing on the glasses. Looks pretty. But yeah, amazing beers. Give them a whirl. Lovely, lovely Franconian beer. These do get a little bit of export. Otherwise, try and look up online, put in Google, buy Franconian beer. I've done it before. There's quite a few web shops that do sell Franconian beer. So yeah, must try beers from Franconia. If you go there, must visit breweries as well. So if you guys had a chance to try either the Keesmann Herren Pils or the Wagner Pils, let me know what you thought of them. As always, remember to comment, subscribe to the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers and delicious Pilsners, and see you guys in another beer review.